Let's start off with strategies that don't work. Now we know that the common sense traditional notion that we can just teach people what's right and wrong and how they should behave actually doesn't work in practice. And if we look at the quote here, that teaching engineering ethics, if we see it in terms of instructing students to be moral members of society, then it cannot and should not be taught. It simply just doesn't work. And secondly, it's important to recognise that as a teacher, if you're not really informed and trained in how to teach ethics, then you may, as the quote says here, render the prospect of teaching ethics, it becomes very dim indeed. So these are key things that we must bear in mind as, if you like, fundamental starting points. Then let's move on and see what might be possible and how that connects with what we know about certain key things about human nature. And the first thing is that a lot of research has been done on the development of moral behaviour, particularly the work of Lawrence Kohlberg, who found that despite wide cultural variations, there seems to be some universality in terms of certain moral constructs, such as justice and fairness. And Nucci, summarising the research across the field, talks about a core of human morality relating to human fairness and human welfare. So we do seem to have some inherent inborn tendency to take on ethical behaviour. And very interestingly, from the field of cognitive neuroscience, is the discovery of neurons that have been referred to as mirror neurons that actually model and reflect what other people are doing. So what that basically means is that our brain will naturally, subconsciously, model other people's feelings. And that's why when we go to the cinema and there's a sad film, people actually cry even though they know that it's only a film. So this has some really interesting implications for how we might go about developing strategies for teaching ethics. So let's have a look at what this might mean. It certainly seems that if we want to have an effective strategy, we reinforce and build on students' natural inclination to act ethically. Bearing in mind, of course, that some might not be naturally wired to do this. And the focus of what we do is going to be on direct experience as far as is possible, to be authentic to real moral dilemmas in real life context. So we might later see that we can use cases, but more we can engage real experience, that might be a real effective avenue for teaching ethics. And the importance of good role modelling. So this needs to be incorporated, that if we want students to model our behaviour, the mirror neurons thing, and the fact that people will naturally model desirable role models, that we must walk the talk in teaching ethics. The final frame here is this, that what can be effectively taught. So certainly we can't guarantee, predict that we can get ethical behaviour through any pedagogical method. It's not substantiated in the evidence. We do know, however, that we can improve students' ability to do ethical reasoning through certain pedagogic interventions. Now, does ethical reasoning lead to ethical behaviour? Well, it's certainly not a causal relationship, but the inference interpretation we may make is that if students have thought about their own values, their own situations, and the implications of different types of behaviour, particularly the implications of behaviour that is not ethical, it may lead, as Wasserman suggests, that there is a valuable way of knowing through clarity of beliefs and values that if students really see the implications both for themselves and people that they care about and the wider community, how certain behaviours can have very undesirable consequences, it may act as a way of moving towards better ethical framing and more ethical behaviour in practice. So that's some key anchor points. We'll now go on to look at what ethical reasoning is, and how different strategies can facilitate it.